Hello everyone, welcome back to the another session in Principles of Programming Languages. So we were basically in second unit and we were talking about the data types. So today we will be going to talk about tuple types and list types. So actually these are not mentioned in the set of data types of second unit first topic. The reason is it is not being supported by all the languages. There are only few particular languages which support tuple and list, right? Now, so let's get started to know more about what is tuple and which programming languages uses tuple, what is list and which languages will use, how it will use. So these are what three things we'll be going to cover from this slide, from this video. The first is about what is a tuple. So basically a tuple is defines, it is a data type. It is a data type that is similar to a record, except that the elements are not named, that's it. Python includes an immutable tuple type. Python includes immutable tuple type. If a tuple needs to be changed, it can be converted to an array with the list function. Here you have to understand one point. Python supports tuple types, Python support list type. The only difference is what? Tuples are immutable, list is mutable. If you really wanted to change any element which you already store in the tuple, you have to change that tuple to list, because list is the only data structure here that can be modified. So simply say tuple is immutable, list is mutable, concerned to Python programming language. Now, Python's tuples are closely related to its list, except that tuples are immutable. That's the only difference. Now let's say how tuple will store the data, how list will contain the data. That we'll see with an example. A tuple is created by assigning a tuple literal, which is my tuple is equal to 3 5.8 apple. So this is what actually you will be understanding. 3 is integer, 5.8 is float, apple is character constant. So tuple allows mixed data type. So that's of notice that the elements of a tuple need not be of the same type. You can take any of data type in the tuple list. Now the point is how to access them. It is okay that we are defining all the values into tuple, but the point is how to access these things. Let's see how we will access those elements once you have given into the tuple. This is what my tuple. Now I wrote a syntax to access the first element, which is my tuple of 1. Now this 1 will points the first index element. So which is the elements of a tuple can be referenced with the indexing in brackets as in the following I have specified. Tuples can be concatenated with the plus operator. So here in the example of my tuple, earlier we were shown you how the my tuple is being created, right? Now let's look at 3 comma 5.8 and some apple we were given, right? This one. Now so if you wanted to access the first element, where you will go? This is basically indexed with 0, this is indexed with 1, this is indexed with 2. Now in the next slide I am writing a syntax to access 5.8. That's what I have given here, my tuple 1. When I give my tuple 1, what element you can expect over here? That I wanted to access 5.8. If you really wanted to access second, that apple if you wanted to access, you have to give the particular index, which is my tuple brackets 2. If you wanted to access the 3 from the my tuple list, you have to give index as 0. So basically tuples will get access through indexes. Now, so coming to the next thing, ML is a programming language. We were talking more times about ML. So ML is a programming language. ML includes a tuple data type. An ML tuple must have at least of 2 elements, whereas Python tuples can be empty or contain 1 element. So you cannot create a tuple in ML with empty set, whereas Python is quite possible to create even an empty tuple. You can make entire tuple as empty. You can delete all the elements from tuple. You can put whatsoever elements you wanted to keep inside of the tuple. but ML is quite against to that. ML should have at least one element in the tuple. So let's say how ML can initialize the tuples. Now the syntax of ML is what? We'll use val. Val is a keyword to define tuples in the ML programming language. Now the same syntax, my tuple, and here you will find the list of items what are there in the my tuple. Now if now let's see how F sharp will support the same tuples. F sharp also has tuples. A tuple is created by assigning a tuple value, which is a list of expressions separated by commas and delimited by parentheses to a name in a let statement. ML uses val keyword, F sharp uses let keyword. Now look at this. Let tuple is equal to 3, 5, 7. Let a, b, c is equal to tuple. So these assigns 3 to a, 5 to b, 7 to c. This kind of syntax is allowed in F sharp programming language.